everybody. Welcome to another episode of our weekly MMA talk show, the only weekly MMA talk show in South Africa, Chokes and Eye Pokes. I'm your host, as always, Vern, joined by my co-host, Jack. Another shocking result in this crazy 2023.
What's 4 in a row underdogs win?
Yeah,
poor bookies.
I know. Yeah. Like I said, man, we should just have backed the underdogs every single time because...
Yeah.
I mean, this is just another year of madness. But we'll get into those fights. I think let's actually start with that. So it was UFC Fight Night, Dawson versus Green. And the first fight, Alex Hernandez. This was at featherweight. Bull Algeo, 30-27 across the board for Bull Algeo.
Yeah.
What did you make of that?
You're actually genuinely very impressive. Last week I said that was going to be a bit of a snooze fest and I couldn't choose who was going to win. But like, whoa, what an impressive elbow. And then like to follow it up. But that was just a war throughout the entire fight. I was very impressed.
It was back and forth, eh? And like, even though Alex Hernandez was on the back foot, like he was trying to push the action.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of his antics outside the cage. I think probably like he works hard. Like you can see he works hard.
Yeah.
But something just this about the level that he faced, and it started with Cerrone. Maybe he's just not ready, or he will never be ready to take it to the level that he maybe thinks he can. So I mean, 100% commitment from his side. Had some decent moments. It was a back and forth fight, but I just think Hernandez is at a certain level, and I think that's where he's going to stay if the UFC keeps him.
Yeah. But it's still super entertaining. I hope that they keep him. It was a really good like start of the card. Yeah.
I mean, like the biggest thing I think, like I said, it was back and forth, but they both did push the pace, but Algeo pushed a little bit more. He did drop him twice as well, so that obviously helps.
Yeah.
Got his takedown, and I think he just outworked him and wanted it more. So 30-27, deserved. I don't like 10-8 rounds unless they're really deserved.
Yeah.
So good result I think for Algeo.
Did you see the post-fight press conference with Algeo?
With Algeo?
Yeah.
No.
It's really weird. He was just going off about like not retiring. It was very strange. Yeah, it was weird.
Not retiring?
Yeah, it was supposed to be like a joke. So it was like, instead of like, I've got a big announcement to make, I'm not retiring. And then he just like, I don't know, the joke didn't land. He carried on saying it. It was a bit weird.
That's flown way over my head. I have no idea. It's kind of like Makhachev's jokes about wanting to fight with Brock Lesnar in DC, and like I can understand those, but it's like you just hear crickets afterwards when you make jokes like that.
And they just push them. I don't know, but yeah, stick to fighting.
I think you should fine him for that. No, I'm joking. Take money away from the guy. No, then Drew Dober versus Rick Glenn. I mean, we didn't give Rick Glenn a chance in this one, but man, Dober just kind of...
Yeah.
I don't even really know how to describe it. Just zero respect for anything, and just marching forward and just... series of lefts and put him out.
Yeah, most KOs in lightweight history now.
Yeah, he beat Dustin Poirier. They were tied at 8, and now he's got 9. So
yeah, it's weird. I didn't even. To be honest, I wasn't that familiar with him. But like, super impressed. It would be really nice to see him against the Chandler next. But I know that's like probably not. I don't know if Chandler's like open for another.
Chandler's above his level, I think. Yeah, I don't think Dober's on that level. My opinion. Like I think he's impressive. I think he'll get a lot of views. I think there's a big push behind him, but yes, super impressive. I did not know that he was even tied with Dustin Poirier for the most knockouts in lightweight history. And that just, I mean, I don't know. I think Chandler and those guys, I've always said, like the lightweight division, the top 5 or 6 are just
killers.
It's killers, and it's a different division, and I don't think he's on that level yet. So I'd love to be proven wrong. I think there is a bit of a shake-up required, but you've got Makhachev, you've got Gaethje, you've got Oliveira, you've got Chandler, Dustin Poirier. I don't know if he's going to stay or not.
Yeah.
I'm discounting Connor. I'm not Dan. Dan Hooker is also one of those to me. You know how I feel about Dan Hooker. I think he's like mid. He's like 8 to 15 in the rankings. He'll be there all the time. That's maybe a good fight for Dober. I think Dober will probably KO him because Dan Hooker's too easily hit.
Yeah.
But you've also got Gamrot, you've got
Fazeev,
you've got Sarukian,
Terrence
Armin.
Mitchell. Terrence McKinney. No, Terrence Mitchell. McKinney.
Yeah.
Which is the one that just fought Dan Hooker? I think it's McKinney.
McKinney. Yeah. So Mitchell fought Cam and
Rosas.
Not Rose. Yeah, Rosas. Excuse me. Yes, sorry. So I was thinking of Christian Rodriguez for some reason, but Rosas. Yeah. So impressive by Dober. I think he'll always have fights. I think the UFC will always back him. I think he'll always be on cards. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he's on that level.
Yeah.
I don't think he is. One thing's for certain though, he's got the touch of death in his hands. Like,
yeah, jeez.
He's got a power left.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really tough. But Glenn was actually really sad to see because as well, ring rust, like he was out for 2 years, and like shame, like what does he do next? Yeah.
It's levels. It's a ruthless business. It's literally like you're out. Like you can be out in the drop of a hat. I mean, look at Izzy.
Yeah.
How people switched up on Izzy. One loss to Strickland and now everybody's like, no, you're done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Shit. Yeah.
And I think sports has become that way lately.
Yeah.
Whatever you've done previous, people just like discount it straight away and just off of one loss. It's like, how do greats always get to come back?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying Izzy can come back, but like, don't discount what Izzy's done up to that point.
Same with Kamaru Usman, I think.
He's a perfect example. Like after the Leon Edwards fight, although a lot of people said that they called that.
Yeah.
Having seen some personal detail. Well, people I know said that they've called that because they knew some details about the camp and stuff. Edwards camp.
Yeah.
Fair enough, but yeah, I mean Usman just now all of a sudden people act like you haven't got almost the most defenses in welterweight history. So. Same thing with sports. I mean, people look at rugby, just unrelated to MMA. Rugby, people aren't even giving New Zealand a chance of beating Ireland.
Yeah.
So, New Zealand, Ireland have been on a long unbeaten streak. I think New Zealand will beat Ireland this coming weekend. Possibly. Just because it's New Zealand, dude. It's a one-off. Like South Africa beat Australia, pumped Australia, and then got wrecked when they played Australia a week later. I know it's different teams and everything, but in these one-off games, you can never say. So same thing with a fight, especially a fight. You can get clipped. You can get caught in a strange submission. Like Anderson Silva years back got caught in some flying heel hook that derailed a lot of his momentum at the time. So anything can happen in fighting. So yeah, I don't know. People mustn't
be fickle.
Be fickle.
Yeah.
People mustn't be fickle.
Yeah.
Anyways, the next fight, Morono versus Buckley. This one was a decision win by Buckley, 30-27, 30-27, 30-26. What did you think of that one?
Buckley's huge. He's so huge for welterweight.
Yeah, it's not just huge, but a lot of muscle.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You get some people that are just their frames are big, but he's like got muscle everywhere, and he's ripped.
Yeah. Very impressed. I mean, he dominated that entire fight. Yeah, definitely should have. I kind of saw it ending a lot sooner, than it did. Like to me, I'm just very surprised by his chin, especially in the third round.
Yeah, I'm shocked it went the distance. The way that those two were going at it. I mean, Buckley pushed the pace early, and then Morono hit him with a counter left. But then again, just after that, they just went at it they just went at it.
Yeah.
But at the end, it was quite a pretty dominant win for Buckley in the end. I mean, very deserved. Again, I don't like the 10-8s unless you utterly dominate somebody. And I'm not talking, lay and pray and the person can't get out from a position. I'm talking you bloody them up, you cut them elbows, that kind of thing. But I guess that's what the 10-7 is for these days.
Yeah, I think the UFC is trying to push 10-8s for some reason. I mean, I don't know. It feels like I don't know.
I think I know why. Because yes, you don't want someone to just lay and pray, but at the same time, you want to push the action on all fronts.
Yeah.
So that includes when you're in the bottom, getting up. Because let's be honest, unless you're a purist, you want to see a stand-up fight. It is more entertaining. Watching someone get into a chess match in a grappling exchange is not as entertaining per se unless you do it as stand-up.
Yeah.
So watching people slug it out, dodging punches, shoulder rolling, whatever they want to do, kicking, head kicks, blocking kicks. So you want people to get to their feet.
Yeah.
So if you're going to lay on the bottom and the person lands enough shots, whether they hurt you that much or not, you now know that could be a 10-8. And then you are screwed on the scorecards. Like that's an uphill battle from there.
Yeah.
It's possibly for that.
Maybe. That would make sense.
So in that instance, I do like it, but I still feel like the 10-8 needs to be complete domination. Maybe I need to change my mindset. So yeah, good win by Buckley. What do you think next for Buckley?
I would like to see him. He's not ranked yet. No, I would like to see him he's good enough to be facing someone who's ranked for sure.
Possibly, yeah, I think so. But he's very stop-start, so hopefully he can get a string a bunch of wins together.
Yeah,
you need to do that. Like at a bare minimum, if you want to be challenging anybody, say top 10, you need to be stringing 4 or 5 wins together to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
And proper wins against proper opponents. So I'd like to see him do that. Hopefully he gains a lot of confidence from this. And yeah, I mean, it's a good fighter. I enjoy watching him.
Yeah, just that consistency.
Consistency is a big thing. Big thing. So let's see if he can get it done. Next, we had Joe Pyfer against Abdul Razak Alhassan at middleweight. Round 2 submission win for Joe Pyfer.
Vicious. So vicious. So technical as well. I was just super impressed with how technical he was. Not necessarily the fight, but he was in it. He was switched on. Yeah.
The round one is interesting. Alhassan seemed to push the pace, defended the head and arm triangle. They get up again. Pyfer starts pushing more. Even though Alhassan did get the leg kicks on Pyfer, and Pyfer did sort of seem to be in pain in the beginning of the second round. That slam into a head and arm triangle, I mean, brutal. And then Alhassan tried to tap, but then the referee never saw it, so he went out. Unlucky
and
there.
He was out for a while.
Yeah. I mean, people make a big deal about CTE, and rightly so, because it too many shots to the head or impacts.
Yeah.
And it took it's a bad thing, and it took a while for people to actually figure out what CTE was and the connection with the shots to the head. I still think if you get choked out enough times like that, it's a lack of oxygen to your head, to your brain. Like that can't be good for you. And a lot of people would rather go out than tap. So I think in a few years' time we're going to say there's going to be a big connection between people getting choked out and not tapping out in time.
Yeah.
And some sort of brain trauma or something like that. It can't be good for you.
Yeah. But Jim, that book, so he choked him out and then also got his hand raised and did the post-fight press conference, so interview, and then walked to his coaches, and he was still out.
Yeah.
Like long time.
Yeah, it's something. Again, I still think that it's going to be like maybe the refs are going to pay closer attention to it. I think what the refs maybe need to do, I'm just trying to think in that instance, because the only thing you can do is like if the person's not going to talk, is start to feel the arm a little bit sooner. Although in that position, in a head and arm triangle, I mean, if you go, you could go, you're not going to really go stiff.
And what's also tough is so in the preview that we're going to do, that second fight with, I'm getting their names.
Yeah, early stoppages.
Yeah, it's always tough. When do you? I don't know. I don't envy referees in this kind of situation.
Yeah, maybe they need to come to some sort of an agreement. If there's an early stoppage, maybe they need to go to a panel or whatever, something like that, and just say, look, that was an early stoppage. Restart the fight, even if you restart it in that position. But that's also tough because when you're battling in that position, like in jiu-jitsu, for example, with the submission, if you're doing positional sparring, and we're going, it is different when someone says to you, okay, start on an armbar. It's harder than when you're rolling and you're like, the armbar's about to come, escape.
Yeah.
As opposed to, okay, lock it on now and let me escape. So it is tricky. I mean, that other one got overturned to no contest, but still, it's you've got to redo the fight. It's such a tricky situation.
Yeah,
it's not like any other sport.
Yeah, it's those people, like two camps, it's like people's like months of their career. It's tough.
Money, especially when you're fighting on such low wages.
Yeah.
When you're starting out. And then you get a situation like Brock Lesnar and Shane Carwin way back when. Shane Carwin was battering Brock Lesnar with punches.
Yeah.
and the referee never stopped it when Shane Carwin was calling for a stoppage, and Shane Carwin gassed himself out. Brock Lesnar came back and wanted the head and arm triangle.
Yeah.
It's a fine line. It's a really, really fine line to work. I don't know what the solution is. But number one should be safety. So there has to be, I guess it's tough as well because the referees, like when there's no crowd and there's no noise, you can hear when someone's about to go out.
Yeah.
Most of the times from a submission, especially with from chokes, you go out from chokes, not from anything else.
Yeah.
You start to develop like a snoring noise. So it's the weirdest thing. I've like been at the brink of getting choked out. Luckily, I've always been able to tap ahead, like, before going out, I've seen stars and all that kind of stuff. But the times, without seeing stars, you start to develop like literally sounds like you're snoring.
Yeah.
And when you're out, you can hear a lot of people do have that snoring sound. So, yeah, I don't really know. Maybe jack up the mic so that the referee's got something in his ear that he can hear it. Honestly, I don't know.
You mentioned last week like a TMO, like a third referee. I mean, like if you have that kind of, I don't know, visibility, like maybe a team, and then just like the main ref, someone in his ear to say, hey, this oak's asleep,
It happens so quickly though. Like you can go out in a couple of, like literally in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. The fighters don't know. Like if you're not looking at the person, you can't necessarily feel them go limp.
Yeah.
It's tricky. It's very, very tricky. I don't really know what the answer is yet. So luckily we're not the ones having to make the rules. So that's a tricky situation.
Yeah.
The next fight that we had was the main event.
Yeah.
Wasn't really much of a fight.
Yeah.
Was not expecting that. Especially not the first punch.
Yeah.
Basically, in the whole fight. 33 seconds, knockout.
And such an innocuous like jab as well. I mean, like
straight.
Yeah. But he had his weight behind him. But I did see there was like, so it was a 5-1 underdog. I remember at UFC it was actually, so on UFC site it was minus 290 for Dawson. But yeah, very. I mean, like didn't see it coming, but he seemed like a deer in the headlights. Honestly,
yeah. Year of the underdog.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not such a big occasion or whatever, but I mean, like you said, minus 290.
Yeah,
it's crazy, man. And to win in that, not just to win, but to win in that fashion.
Yeah, 33 seconds.
Like if you had to bet it to be under a minute.
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money you would have made. I would have liked to know what those odds were.
Yeah.
And even, again, KO, like Dawson hadn't lost in so long, and let alone a KO. So crazy, man. But Bobby Green, I'm still not a fan. Like, I don't know. I can't, some people I can't like.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I don't respect him. I don't think he's also one of those guys. I think he's there and thereabouts. And you were saying there was a possibility of him and Dan Hooker, like his coach wants him to fight Dan Hooker.
Yeah. So post fight, he was like, I just want to fight in December. But his coaches afterwards said that they want him to fight Dan Hooker. But also apparently Moicano is in the mix. So I think it's between those two now.
So for Green to fight Moicano or Hooker to fight Moicano?
Green to fight Moicano.
I think Green should fight Hooker. If you're Green, I think it's a better fight. I think it's a winnable fight. I think Dan Hooker is easily hit, and now we see he's got some decent power in his hands, or real power in his hands.
Yeah,
it would be interesting. But Dober or Green to fight Hooker, I think is a good one because Hooker's still a big name.
Yeah. I would kind of like to see Dober versus Green. I think that would also be very interesting. But like, because now he's ranked, like, which is like, it blows my mind a little bit at lightweight that Bobby Green is ranked. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's that American tax that they put onto their fighters. So I still think though Dober probably smokes Green. Like I'll bet against Green probably most times. Obviously depending on who the fight is.
Yeah.
But against Dan Hooker, I think Dan Hooker would lose that fight. I think it's just too easily hit. And you don't want Green you don't want Green or Dober to hit you.
Yeah. I mean, it's so weird because I'm the same with Green. I don't know. Maybe it's something about either his fighting style or maybe like, I don't know, his character I don't like resonate that much with. But he's been impressive. Like the last 2 fights, him versus
he's earned it.
Yeah.
My thing is just he's old.
Yeah.
Oldish. And I think he's had a bit of a journeyman career. So I think, again, he'll be entertaining. I think he'll make a lot of money. I think the UFC will always have fights for him. He's always game. But for me, I don't think he's like Dan Hooker. Like if they fight each other, what happens afterwards?
Yeah.
Who goes where? You're not going to crack a fight against a top 5 opponent, top 6. Those killers. Never.
I think Dan is still going to try and make a run for the title. I think before he's done.
So is Tony.
Yeah.
So is Tony. Nah, that's disrespectful to Dan Hooker. Sorry, but that I can't see it happening. I think he's not on that level.
I think if he gets one more loss, I'll agree with you. But he has shown like quite a lot. Like him versus Poirier. I know that that was a while ago, and again we always talk about that meter, but like that was just he can hang with them. Well, he could that night, so
maybe. I mean, look, it's reasons like that why he's got fans. There's always going to have fans. He's always going to be a fan favorite. But Donald Cerrone was a fan favorite. Okay, Donald Cerrone did fight for a title, so that's different. But yeah. Again, I have my reservations about Dan Hooker, so let's see.
Yeah.
Speaking about lightweight, so. Firstly, actually, I'm jumping the gun here. So we're sharing the title again, unfortunately. Even though I'm pretty sure I won the last round, but we restarted kind of since we both came back. So
yeah.
I mean, you went away, I went away, so we both restarted. So we're sharing the title again this week. We may as well. There we go. So it's shared.
It's like
this
a handshake.
Week. Again, we'll shake hands. We're sharing the title again this week.
Yeah.
So. Hopefully, after our predictions this week,
we'll have a winner.
I mean,
yeah,
it's about damn time. So
yeah, it's like we need to be more polarized.
Yeah, but these fights that they're making are kind of
like clear cut,
fairly clear cut.
Yeah,
like the reasoning behind each pick is solid and makes sense. Like it would be really risky to go the opposite way.
What's interesting is we've been getting more of the same, but at the same time we've been getting more ones right. So that's also like something to note in our defense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So out of these, I think we just didn't get the Bobby Green one.
Literally.
It was just Bobby Green. Yeah. So our only difference was the fight that was cancelled. I didn't see why it was cancelled. And when it was cancelled, I didn't see. I actually don't know why, but it was. So I mean, I think actually, I was going to say I think you would have won if it wasn't cancelled, but it's a dumb thing to say because we had a 50-50 chance. So yeah. Speaking of lightweight and Tony, did you see Sugar Sean O'Malley's comments about Tony Ferguson and Paddy Pimblett? So true though. Like we'll put a screenshot of the comments and everything, but basically. What he said was, it's a no-win fight for Paddy Pimblett, which is 100% true because if he wins, he beats a washed-up Tony Ferguson that everyone agrees is washed up. But if he loses, which he could still do because Tony Ferguson is still really good, he's the first loss. He's Tony Ferguson's first win in 7.
Yeah.
And people are like, you lost to a washed-up Tony Ferguson.
Yeah.
So I don't know why Paddy Pimblett took that fight.
I think
bucket list?
I don't know. Yeah, that's very true though. That's very true. It's not very smart of him.
Yeah, it would be really stupid. But hey, man, he took that fight. So yeah. So yeah, I don't know if you saw on a side note, Paulo Costa posted about his elbow surgery from 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, the thing looked gnarly.
Yeah, I think it's super gnarly.
I think it got infected.
I didn't see exactly what happened. Yeah, if it's just an infection's nothing to be sort of calm about, but. I'm just wondering why I would post it.
Yeah, same. Because like typically, I mean, most fighters go into fights with injuries. I don't know why you would post it either.
And then you put it out afterwards. You don't, and then you say, listen, and then you even put photos like Connor's infamous. My foot was a balloon.
Yeah,
it was a balloon, but anyway. So I don't know why Paulo Costa would put that out. Because I don't know if he's trying to make excuses already. I do recall with the Vettori fight, he was already making excuses ahead of time. So I was really hoping we get, and we may still get the best Paulo Costa. But I've always said in this fight, it's going to come down to what Costa you get. Yeah. So if he wakes up on the wrong side of bed and he gives you a Vettori type performance, Khamzat will finish him. Will actually finish him. But if he gives you like a performance that he had on his way to a title run, I don't see Khamzat being able to beat that guy. So I'm just wondering why he would put that information out there.
Yeah.
What's the purpose of that?
Yeah.
Unless it's already to make sort of an excuse as to why he didn't perform optimally.
Yeah. I don't know. It is so weird. I don't know. Like his arm was very swollen as well. Yeah. But he's still sparring. He's still training. I don't know. I'm still on the Costa train, to be honest. I think he'll take it. We'll get into that for that review, but I don't know. I think I'm leaning more towards Costa.
I don't know. I mean, maybe he thought like people would see it in an event and ask him. But then if you want to hide that, then just train with the long Rashi or something.
Yeah.
You have aircon inside. It is Abu Dhabi, yeah, but it's like this time of the year. It's fairly warm. It's getting a little bit colder, but
yeah,
you can train indoors with aircon.
Yeah.
So just wear a long sleeve. Like something's telling me we're not going to get the best Paulo Costa, unless it's a mind game from his side, making Hamza think like, okay, well,
But so the first thing is like, what I wanted to say is that. So the injury or the surgery is not as big a thing as like the infection. I think antibiotics when you're training, that's really tough. Like that's really hectic. And
especially staph infection.
Yeah. And then the other one is I don't know, there hasn't been that much trash talk between them. I think there's a mutual respect now. I think that like both are kind of holding their tongues a little bit and like being like, hey, I could very realistically lose this thing. I think more than the Vettori fight for Costa and more than I don't really have reference of Khamzat. He just is
steam trained everybody. I think you might have missed the part where Khamzat said some shit about Paulo Costa's girlfriend.
No, I did see that, and also the Costa like taking his hat and putting it in his pants and stuff.
That's old news, but
yeah. But more recently, I don't know, they have slowed down at least. There hasn't been as much of a build-up as I thought there would be.
Well, also they've been probably been pretty far away from each other, so it's almost fight week.
Yeah.
Almost. So I promise you that there'll be a lot of trash talk when it comes to time to it, but that's selling the fight, I guess.
Yeah.
I really hope we get the best Paulo Costa. I really hope that we don't have him compromised, and it's just because the problem then is the hype train for Hamzat gets even bigger.
Yeah.
And listen, if Paulo Costa is at 100% and Hamzat goes and wrecks him, I think they're waiting for Hamzat to do that so they can give him the title
shot. Yeah.
I don't think anybody else is earmarked for that 185 title shot besides him.
Yeah.
And then if he loses, then they'll regroup from there. But then there's even more reason to make that hype train even bigger and bigger. And
yeah, no, that's true. It does feel like to reference. To reference Scotland versus
maybe Hamzat's putting some voodoo on us now from afar.
Like well, to reference rugby again, it's like we just had Scotland versus Ireland, and that determined the box future. This feels very similar in terms of if Costa wins, like I think Dricus is fine. I don't think he's going to fight for the title over Dricus. But if Khamzat wins, then it's like, to me, I don't even think that it matters how he wins. I think he will fight for the title.
To win, yeah, exactly. And then we probably see Dricus and Izzy, who knows, whatever. They'll figure it out, I guess.
Yeah.
UFC is going to do what the UFC needs to do. So yeah, can't wait for that fight though. I just hope Costa is at 100% and not even compromised in the slightest.
Yeah.
So just another thing on 294, Gamrot's the alternate for the Makhachev Oliveira fight. That was random.
Yeah, I saw. Like I thought that Gaethje's the next one for that title shot. Yeah, unexpected, but makes sense.
But Gaethje's in line, so he fights the winner anyway, unless they really have a close fight. So I wouldn't be the alternate if I was Gaethje. Like, why put yourself through that?
Yeah, that is true. I suppose that the Cannonier being the backup for Strickland is also kind of a moot point, so it doesn't really mean. So because usually the media goes like, oh, it's a backup, that does that mean he's next, but not necessarily.
Yeah, but Cannonier had no other way to the title at the time because no one thought that Strickland was going to beat Izzy. So I think Gamrot is smart for him. I mean, he was nowhere near title contention. He kind of jumps the queue a little bit, and I think it's a good move for him.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll get to fight because Oliveira and Makhachev have never really pulled out of fights, especially not this close to a fight. So, look, he'll get paid all the same. Good payday. You cut the weight. Like, maybe weight cutting's not hard for him. And it shows good favor with the UFC. It shows you're willing to fight. So maybe that does jump in the queue a little bit later. Stranger things have happened. Strickland has jumped the queue and fought Izzy. So
Yeah.
that could happen too. And then did you see old Belal said, I will decide what did he say? Is like, who I would rather fight when I get my title shot. It's like, Belal, what?
Yeah.
Like,
I liked him more when he had more humility, honestly. I don't know, like, I think he has like a PR team or something that's trying to make him like a bit of the bad guy.
I think he's trying to go heel like Colby Covington did, but it's not in his nature to be a heel.
Yeah.
And he's not. So you in wrestling, and it all comes from wrestling, the heel and the face. You get two types of what they call heat in wrestling. So heat is like when you get the crowd to boo you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's heat. A pop is when the crowd cheers you. So the heat is what Colby Covington, like his sole focus is to get heat because he's a heel, he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
But you get heat in terms of people genuinely disliking you, which is the type of heat you want to get because you're the bad guy.
Yeah.
And the go away, we'd rather not have you here type heat, like what are you doing type heat.
Yeah.
And Bilal's getting that type of heat.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
the wrong heat.
Yeah.
So Bilal's really gone about this the wrong way. For me, the fans always said like, I can't remember what it was, but it's like basically if you had to pick, it's like, Belal, if you had to pick A or B, would you still win via decision? You know, that kind of stuff, because you know that's the type of fighter he is. So for me, I like this perfectly sums it up. I don't feel any certain way towards it. Like I don't actually feel like whether you're trying to be the good guy, the bad guy, you need to invoke a reaction out of people. I have zero reaction towards Belal besides like, dude, piss off. Like let the real contenders fight here.
But then do you think he's going to be next? So if there's not an immediate rematch,
I mean, probably. Yeah, probably. I mean, the eye poke with Edwards. If Edwards wins. Colby Covington can sell any fight, kind of, even though some of his stuff is a bit cringe.
Yeah.
I think he probably will be next year. Yeah.
Two heels versus each other. If it is the Covington
well, Covington will turn into a phase of people will cheer Covington. That's the problem, like for Belal, which maybe then he wants that. Maybe you need that. Maybe that's what he needs to find himself and find what kind of heel he wants to be. But
the real heel was in, that's all.
I don't feel a certain way towards Belal besides just get lost. Like, what are you doing here? Like, I respect the guy. I mean, from a fighting standpoint, you know, great run is on. Results wise. But I'd rather soon see Kamaru Usman fight for the title again rather than Belal. No, I'm joking.
I still want to see that fight though. Belal versus Kamaru. Like, I still think that's the fight to make. Like,
yeah, it's a good fight. I think it would be, you know, if he doesn't. I mean, I think Usman should beat him. But it's like, what's Usman's hunger?
Yeah, because he's not going to get a fourth fight.
Where is he mentally after those losses? So I don't know, man. Belal, I don't. Whatever. We're talking about you, so you've done something right. But I just kind of like that. Sorry. Yeah. But I never meet you in person. It won't be good for me. You know, especially with your new heel persona. But anyway, whatever. Good luck to you, Belal. Maybe you get that next title shot. Who knows? So, we're going to move on to the last bit of our show tonight, and it's the predictions for the UFC Fight Night, Yusuff versus Barboza. And the first fight is at bantamweight, one we're really, I'm sure, you're also as well looking forward to. We got South Africa's own Cameron Saaiman, 9-0 versus Christian Rodriguez, 9-1-0, kicking off the main card. Finally, Cameron Saaiman's on the main card. Yeah. I don't know what took you guys so long. I do, however.
How is he below?
How is he so low?
I know he's below Edgar, Chavez, and Daniel. I don't know.
Lacerda. But he's even below Martinez and Yanez.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. They're a little bit more experienced. But like, how are you? Anyway, whatever. Yeah, listen. Cameron's going to keep on doing his thing. It doesn't really matter. Dricus was on the start of a main card at the beginning of the year and Bo Nickel ahead of him, and he was in title contention by the end of the year. So, whatever. Rodriguez 9-1-0, Cameron Saaiman 9-0-0. Rodriguez on a 2-fight win streak. Cameron Saiman's never lost. Cameron turning 23 at the end of the year. Rodriguez 25, both super, super young. Yeah, what are you thinking for this one? Before we get into too much detail, but what are your thoughts?
Okay, I want to start by saying I'm going to pick Cameron, but. I mean, okay, so the Rosas Jr. fight, I rewatched it, and Rodriguez is sloppy. He was very sloppy. I think it for this Cameron Saaiman fight, it's going to be decided in the clinch. And the thing that won him the fight against Rosas was he was a lot more dominant in the clinch, which he won't have that with Cameron. Cameron's way more physical, and I don't know. I just don't see that playing out the same way. But I do think if he learns from that last fight, it is going to present a lot of problems for Cameron. So for me, I'm going to say Cameron, but it is going to depend on how much Rodriguez learns from the last fight.
Fair enough. Look, I mean, we've got to be unbiased. I mean, we're obviously always super biased towards South African fighters. But at the same time, we've got to keep a bit of an unbiased opinion and actually look at proper facts. But I agree with you. He was able to out-grapple Rosas and bully him, really, in a sense.
Yeah.
And Rosas is physically is not bad. I think he's a strong kid. He's muscular for any age, or muscular enough. He still needs to grow into it a little bit more. The big thing, though, for me is still like Cameron Saaiman has 0 holes in his game.
Yeah.
0.
Yeah.
Unless something now comes up that we see him against some top tier athlete and we're like, yeah, you know what? He needs to improve that. But even then, it's not a hole in his game per se.
Yeah.
I still think with Cameron Saaiman, and I've said this multiple times, I think Dricus kicks the door down for South African athletes. I think Cameron Saaiman takes it to a complete new level. I think the potential for Cameron Saaiman is limitless. Honestly, it's limitless.
Yeah.
The kid's 22. And he's not, and I say kid, he's just a kid in age, but like the way he fights, the way his business acumen, the way he's running stuff outside the octagon, is like a seasoned veteran, okay, in a good way. And I know for a long time, like he just put it on his vlog series. He released a vlog series now where he details his training and day in the life kind of thing. He brought attention to Neil Geyser, who's one of the top jiu-jitsu coaches in the whole country. But we've been knowing for a long time he's been training with Neil Geyser at Team CIT.
Yeah.
That guy is a master strategist and knows so many different tricks of the trade. A third stripe Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, pioneer in South African Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They'll be cooking something up. And CIT's game plans are always on point.
Yeah.
They've taken fighters from other places and through just game plan and training and grit and the way that they have an ethos at their gym. I don't see Cameron losing. I'm never going to back him, not back him.
Yes.
I don't see him losing anytime soon. And barring some getting clipped or something like that, some major mistake or some injury or something. But at the same time, I do think there will be problems presented in this fight. So I don't think it's going to be a walkover. I don't think it's going to be smooth sailing for him.
Yeah, it's his hardest for sure.
For sure, to date, it will be his hardest fight in the UFC in any event. I think you look at like a fight where he won the EFC title against Sandile Manangela. And Sandile is a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He did judo previously. He's a seasoned grappler. I mean, he's strong. He's a veteran. Cameron came out of that fight pretty good. I mean, he nullified any of the grappling that Sandile had, and this was years back.
Yeah,
I think it was 2 years back now. I think they fought so much in the last while, him and Dricus, that I forget if it's 2 years ago or a year and a half, whatever.
Yeah.
Since then, he's physically improved. Mentally, of course, being able to go to the UFC, put on performances like that, and now feel at home for all intents and purposes, and just be further along in his journey. So I think it will present problems for him. I'm going decision for Cameron in this one. I think, there'll be some problems for him to overcome. Not 100% smooth sailing. I'm still torn. Probably 29. No, I don't want to say 29, 28. Probably 30, 27. And maybe like one judge. So 30, 27, 30, 27, 29, 28.
Yeah.
That's my exact prediction. Cameron Saaiman to win by decision.
Okay.
You?
I think also win by decision. I think that it's going to be almost a chess match because I can't see Christian Rodriguez get taken down. He's got really good takedown defense. I can't see Cameron trying to take him down. I think it's going to be on the feet. And I don't know, they both got really... I mean, I think that Cameron's going to be doing a lot of the pushing the pace, but I don't see Rodriguez getting put out. So I do think goes to decision, similar, unanimous. 30-27, yeah.
And I don't think this is the end of the road for Christian Rodriguez as well. I just think it's one of those things where you've got two people who are prospects.
Yeah.
That, I mean, Rodriguez has great potential as well, but it's just, for me, it's still Cameron. It's about Cameron making his climb up.
Yeah.
And like he said, he wants to fight for a title by the end of the next year. We'll see if that happens. It depends on a lot of factors, of course. But in this specific fight, again, like I think Cameron pushes the action. You also don't discount, even if Cameron gets taken down, you can't hold him there necessarily.
Yeah, like you did with Rosas, like for sure.
Exactly.
Like that's what won him the fight.
And also, don't forget, Cameron Saaiman's got great submissions from the bottom. Like I say, he has 0 holes in his game.
Yeah.
So I think Cameron Saaiman, 30-27, 30-27, 29-28, one close round, probably the first round, just when there's a feeling out process.
Yeah.
But I think he makes the adjustments, what he needs to do. I think Coach Mornifisa surely will go with him. If maybe Cameron loses that first round on a judge's scorecard, he'll make the adjustments and should win. But if it goes the other way, look, I mean, it's not going to be a boring fight.
Yeah, absolutely
and
not.
It's
a great one to start off with. This next one, I don't understand how is above it.
Yeah. Edgar Chairez, and Daniel Lacerda. So Mexico versus Brazil. We've got a rematch. There was an early stoppage last time. Lacerda, 11-5-0, 4-fight losing streak, all finishes.
Yeah.
Okay, besides the no contest. And then we've got Edgar, who's 10-5-0. Again, I agree with you. I don't know why. Maybe, with these cards, like, you kick it off with a great fight, get everybody buzzing to watch the next couple. And if those next couple are shit, then at least people are still buzzing off the first one. Like, okay, the first one, remember the first one. If the first one sucks, then it's like...
Yeah.
But that being said, with my prediction for this one, I think Chairez wins by submission again. I say again. But if that happens, then it would have been a good way to start it off.
Yeah.
Look... I still don't know how Lacerda is still in the UFC, having lost 4 fights in a row.
And both, I mean...
All of them by stoppage.
Yeah.
But any event, he's still in the UFC, so good for you, Mr. Lacerda. But he has a great fight again for Chairez. Sorry, I'm butchering your name. But for me, in the first fight, he was super comfortable. It was only a matter of time before he finished Lacerda, and I think it's probably going to go the same way, submission. I think I said first or second round. I think, he's way too comfortable in there.
If that happens, it'll just be like not a waste of time, but also just like the dramatic irony would be insane. I'm going Lacerda.
You're going Lacerda?
I'm going Lacerda.
You have the underdog, huh?
Yeah. I don't know. Something about that fight. He also like in that overturned fight, even it was short, but like I think he had his moments. I do think that like he has had a really bad run, but there's something that I think that he has a chance,
Interesting. I like it. We're going to have different picks.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to have different picks sometime or another.
Also, neither of them have won a fight in the UFC.
Yeah, I mean...
So,
but still, I just look at... Okay, first off, it's possible. I mean, I'm not saying it's not. But I just think of how comfortable he was in that first fight.
Yes.
Chairez.
Yeah, he was dominating.
And it was just a matter of time, like I say. But look, I mean, we have to agree, and some, and we have to disagree on others.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for us to disagree on this one. It means
the belt is mine.
Look at the main event. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm joking. Next up, we have got Marc-Andre Barrial versus Michel Pereira.
Yeah, Barrial, Mr. Canada.
Yeah.
At the last pay-per-view. Barrial. I'm just going to go Barrial. Make it simple.
I have Pereira. He's 5-0.
Yeah.
Barrial was so impressive his last fight, but I don't know, Pereira momentum. As we say, it's like very important.
Yeah, possibly. I do remember it was although he did win a split decision, but
yes, his last fight was split. I know it was questionable.
Yeah, no, I mean we weren't really impressed with Barriol per se, but I mean you're only as good as the person you're fighting.
Yeah.
I think we thought he was going to get a push. He was getting pushed too much.
Yeah.
But I think Barriol wins this one. Decision.
Yeah. Okay, fair.
But Pereira could. I mean, there's,
yeah, it's not
one of us will be right. So at least we'll have a win for the show.
I'm glad that we have a few different picks, but I think Pereira second round TKO.
Okay, fair enough. This will be the most entertaining picks.
Yes.
Let me say this again. Sorry, that was stupid. This will be the most entertaining picks we ever do because of all the differences. So tune in to see. Someone will win. Surely.
Yeah.
All right. So next we got Jonathan Martinez, also at bantamweight, versus Adrian Yanez. Jonathan Martinez, 18-4. Yanez, 16-4. Both very experienced. Yanez just coming off a loss, but had 9 wins prior to that. We've got Martinez on a 5-fight win streak. He's won 9 of his 12 in the UFC.
Yeah.
What are you saying for this one?
I have Martinez, but like it's a close fight. This was the hardest one for me to pick. It is. I mean, yeah, splitting hairs. They both have been so impressive. Yeah, I don't know, Martinez.
I had Martinez because he's probably more well-rounded. But he's less explosive. So because he's less explosive, he's more well-rounded, but also Yanez is very reckless.
Yeah.
But then I was looking at like the only loss, I mean, that Yanez had was to Font, and it was because of he wasn't so durable.
Yeah.
And I think in this fight, I don't think it's going to go the distance. I think I'm actually going to go for a KO win for Yanez. And only because he's got super quick hands. He's been winning performance of the night bonuses. He won 5 already in the UFC. He is super, super reckless though. So it's going to come down to what type of game plan Martinez plays, but you can't be too cautious or even just push forward too much as well because the power and the quick hands of Yanez. But I'm going to go for Yanez, in those exchanges being less explosive, old Martinez. But again, like I can see Martinez winning it. It was really, really close to calls. Probably just as close as the main event for me to call. But I'll go Yanez KO, yeah.
Okay.
So we're different there as well.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I think Martinez decision, because I do think he weathers the storm. I think that's going to be the deciding factor.
Yeah. Again, I mean, if you look at Yanez's lack of durability, it's not only when you're getting pummeled and you get KO'd or, you get submitted or whatever. It's like durability to actually hang in there and keep pushing and be explosive. But he is super explosive, so I'll go for Yanez, be different. The next fight we've got Jennifer Maia versus Viviane Araujo. Viviane Araujo, 11-5, 2-fight losing streak. All of her fights since 2019 have actually gone the distance. Interesting stat. Jennifer Maia, 21-9, 2-fight win streak. And what are you saying for this one? Women's flyweight.
I'm going underdog again. I'm going Viviane.
Who's the underdog? Viviane's the underdog. Yeah. Well, fair enough. Okay, why?
Stylistically, I think that she's going to keep it standing. And I don't know. I think that she has more of an edge standing.
The problem with Maia is she's got no knockout power.
Yeah.
No finishing power really. But I think she will outwork Araujo, excuse me. Yeah. She'll outwork her, and I think she'll do enough to get it done. In my opinion, it'll just be about who will outwork who.
Yeah.
So, again, look, if Araujo wins, it would probably be a decision. So the decision would be the smart choice because all of the things have been decision, all of the wins, all of the fights really.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to go submission for Maia round 2. I think. No, I said decision for Maia. Sorry. Yeah, it's this. There's no chance this fight doesn't go to decision.
Yeah.
So, Maia doesn't have that much finishing power. So, decision for Maia.
Okay. Yeah.
You got decision.
Decision, maybe split, honestly.
So, we're different there again.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Then we get to the main event. Sodiq Yusuff. This is at featherweight, by the way. Sodiq Yusuff versus Edson Barboza. 13-2 for Yusuff. 23-11 for Barboza. Barboza's 1-2 in his last 3. Yusuff is on a 2-fight win streak. Yeah. What are you saying for this one?
Yusuff. So 2-fight win streak, but his last loss was to Allen.
So who's the underdog?
Underdog is Barboza.
So why are you not going for the underdog? Yeah.
That's a good question. I
Actually,
don't know how to answer that.
Keep it that way. You're going for the favorite. So okay. So you're going Yusuff. Care to say how?
Decision. I don't think you can put out. I think putting Barboza out is still hard.
Okay. Look, I'm still a bit torn on this. So first of all, Barboza's 37. Okay. We know where he's poor. Defensively, he's not very good. He's not very durable anymore. Is wrestling there and thereabouts? You disagree about the durability?
I do. So he's lost. He was coming off a loss. Yeah. That was decision though.
No, I think he won his last fight. Actually, to be fair.
Oof.
I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, but he's 1-2 in his last 3. I think he won his last fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
No, he definitely won his last fight because I think he lost to Bryce Mitchell before that. And no, he lost 2 before that. Yeah.
Yeah. I still don't see him as being someone that's easier to get knocked out. I don't know why.
No, I'm not saying he's easy to get knocked out. I'm just saying he's not as durable anymore. Look, he does have a reach advantage, and kicks are going to be super important.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I know you said that Sodiq Yusuff only lost to Arnold Allen, but it did expose him a little bit. Okay, Arnold Allen's pretty elite in his striking, so he was able to pick him apart in that fight, and that's what I say by being exposed. But Sodiq Yusuff's got so much punching power.
Yeah.
And that's the question for me in this fight. It's like, can he connect with Barboza? Because that's his chance to win.
Yeah, and close that distance.
Close the distance because the reach advantage with Barboza. And Barboza's kicks are still... you don't want to get kicked by Barboza even still.
Yeah.
The age and the durability and his journeyman sort of journey, for lack of a better term, that he's gone on. That's the big question. This is so tough to call for me. Like I want to say Yusuff. Like I really want to say Yusuff, and probably Yusuff will win. Like, to be honest with you, but I'm gonna go Barboza to win this one, and I've got round 2 KO.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very possible.
Yeah.
I get to say how the KO happens.
I'm gonna go spinning back kick. Not spinning back kick. What do you call it? Spinning wheel kick.
That would be cool to see.
Be very cool to see.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Barboza. He's the underdog, you said, right? Yeah, why not? So I think we pretty much. How did you say Yusuff wins?
I didn't, but I think. Decision.
5 rounds. Okay. So we have got how many decisions? How many different differences have we got?
I can tell you that we have, I think, 1 in common.
Okay.
So we have 5 differences.
Okay. So tune in next week. There will be a winner. We can finally settle this. We can give the belt to an actual winner. We're not going to share it. Touch wood.
Yeah.
Like,
we're going to do it.
There's no like draw, anything like that. So there should be a winner of the Chokes and Eye Pokes World Predictions Championship next week. So tune in and see who takes that one.
Yeah.
That's about all the time we have for this week. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. As always, please have a look for links to the other socials down in the description box. And we'll see you guys next week. Cheers, everybody. Hey guys, Vern here from the Hack Check podcast. I'm extremely excited to announce that we have partnered with Ligum Fight Gear. Ligum Fight Gear is the #1 premium brand for all of your fight gear and fight equipment. Everything from gis to rashies to this hoodie I'm wearing right now, gum guards, shin pads, even treadmills, you name it. Make sure you visit www.ligumfightgear.com. Link is in the description. As a special gift to all of the viewers, I'm giving you 10% off of all of your purchases, big or small. Use the discount code HACKCHECK10 at checkout for 10% off of all of your purchases. That's ligumfightgear.com. HackCheck10 is the discount code. We hope you enjoyed this episode.